This is a picture of Marie feeding Friend, who was one of our range cows there on the ranch in Brewster County. The ranch had 14,000 acres. It was located 21 miles out on the Fort Stockton Highway out of Alpine. We ran 350 mother cows and 200 head of goats. That's a picture of Old Blue in the background, which is one of the major mountains there in the Glass Range in West Texas. Just a picture of the arid land. It's typical of that area in a 14-inch rainfall belt. So you have a lot of xerophytes, that is dry weathered plants. It's a picture of a little bull calf that we raised down on the ranch. We left him a bull, and I think she used him later as a bull for in her herd. In the corrals on the ranch, the kids that we had that year, and of course Marie's carrying, I think that one was probably Bolito, which was one of the kids that we raised on the bottle. Shearing crew, shearing the nanny goats. We sold the hair on the adults for $1.50 that year and got $1.26.50 for the grown hair, or kid hair. Picture of Patty, made at my mother's at 3222 St. John's Drive, located at Abbott and St. John's in Dallas. She must be not even a year old yet, since she's not walking, and that must have been in the summer after she was born in November. Nancy, Patty, you really like that bottle, don't you? Made on the George Travis ranch, a little 900-acre ranch out east of Follett, Texas, in Lipscomb County. It's right on the Oklahoma line, just as close as you can get to it on the east side. And the county's located in the northeast corner of the Panhandle. We enjoyed this little ranch. It had 5 little lakes, very small spring-fed lakes on the ranch. It was an excellent place to fish for bass. You noticed in the background the storm shelter that saved our lives during the tornado that we experienced while we were there. Patty trying to learn to ride her tricycle. George had asked us to move out there since his insurance was not in force unless the house was occupied. It was a nice little house that he fixed up for his daughter and her husband. That's my 1953 Studebaker Commander that was the first time we became a 2-car family. Easter while we were on the Travis place. I think we're out there 2 Easters. But the dresses that kids are wearing were made by my sister Jeanette. She was a real good seamstress, and she enjoyed making them for the kids, and of course we enjoyed getting them. She did a lot of fancy work on them. A lot of embroidery and that kind of thing. Some little cats that were raised in the attic of our house there that we were living in on the ranch. This is a birthday party. The adult in there was Mildred Becker, one of our very close friends. She and her husband while we lived in Follett. And her kiddos are in the party as well as ours. It must have been made on the playground up at the school, since the school was in the background. Now, my mother moved from Dallas in 1952 to, imagine that's on Arnold, I believe that's where that was, in Houston. We're down there on vacation, still living in Follett. Again, back in Follett, an Easter later. Those outbuildings in back were demolished except for the foundations. The tornado took them completely away. The 15-foot self-propelled John Deere combine over in the left corner there was rolled into massive junk. Only the block on the engine was the only thing that was any good on it, I guess. There was an A model John Deere and a D model John Deere that were also torn up by the tornado. Tornado must have happened that year because Marie was carrying Jim at the time the tornado hit. We all crawled down in the cellar you see there through the covered stairway and waited for it to hit. Quite an experience. The kids were terrified of storms for any time it get cloudy or windy for some years after that. Little rabbits were raised there at the place. Some of those were killed in the tornado. But they were cute little old New Zealands. Nancy must be getting close to a year old because she's kind of trying to walk. Of course, Nancy and Jim were born very close together, so it must have been Easter before Jim was born in August. After we were cleaned out by the tornado on the Travis place, George rebuilt the place out there on the ranch, and he and Leola moved out there. And we bought George's house, and this is a picture of George's house there in Follett. 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 2 bedrooms upstairs. It's a 2-story house, 2 bedrooms upstairs with a bath, 1 bedroom downstairs. George's grounds were just beautiful. We'd spent a lot of money there on them, and there's in the backyard. There's a little hutch that we kept the rabbits in after we moved into Follett, what rabbits were left. Fall of the same year. I would assume that must be the fall of 1955 since we left there in May of '56. Jim was just a little over a year old when we left there. The snowstorm we experienced at that time, that's February of '56, I believe, February or March of '56. That's the back of our house there. T.R. Lobbin's house, our next door neighbor. And this is a John J. house right there. They were across the street from us, looking down the street. Patty long pants are the thing to wear. I guess Mother put those over your legs when you decide to go out and make the snow scene. Here's Easter again, Easter of '56, and of course old Jim's was born in August prior to that. Again, little dresses, and Mom, you sure are a beautiful woman, and old Jim, we always get a big bang out of that. I guess the sun got in his eyes. But we always enjoy that as much as anything in our family movies. The Easter egg hunt the same day. You see the barbecue pit there in the back. I think we used it some, but not a lot, since Marie was so involved with trying to raise a family. We didn't get a lot of chance to do so. That's Mildred Becker and June Crump, and that was Candace Becker, and I guess that's Steve Becker, and there's Timmy Crump. Okay, we've moved to Arlington now, and here's Jim playing in the swimming pool. We lived at Highland Drive. That's where we were at that time. You see the hurricane fence around it. That wasn't Jim-proof at all by any means. He'd climb up and over the thing and be gone before Marie could find him. We had a parrot that was a neighbor on the back side of us there, and he got to where he would mimic both Jim and Marie. Jim would would cry, and so would the parrot. Marie'd call Jimmy, and so would the parrot. And we had a lot of fun out of that. And here's Mom teaching him how to be a bad boy. She's going to turn the hose over to him in a minute, and guess what? He's going to try to wet her. This is the summer of '56, in probably July or August. My mother moved from 3222 St. John's Drive in Dallas down to Houston in 1952, and here we are at her home on Arnold in Houston. My 3 children and my sister Jeanette's oldest daughter, Lynn. don't know what all this is. I probably should have edited it out, but there was such a short sequence of this with Jeanette's one child in there that I didn't. Here we are back out at Alpine again, and on the ranch. There's Loma, Colorado, right in back of the ranch house. There's the house we first lived in. Had running water, but no electricity. No butane. It was heated with a cook stove, a wooden cook stove, and that's where we heated our water and everything. It was a GI shack that had been brought in until we could get a better house for us built. Ms. Dahlman, who owned the ranch, had a house out there, and just a fellow by the name of Wheelis had lived in it. And there were some peculiar circumstances when he left the ranch concerning it and the subsequent burning of the house, which she had rebuilt. This is Mary Sims, our next door neighbor on the ranch. She was just a little thing when we lived out there. They lived 2.5 miles from us. And there's our kids on the horseback. Here's Robert. He's 9 or 10, maybe 11 years old at that point. He just wants to show us how he can ride that horse, and of course he was quite small too. This must have been taken in 56 or 57, I would assume. And here's Bob Sims with Jim in tow. Bob was a real nice guy. They ran sheep on their ranch, and Bob was a Virginian. We always thought a lot of he and his wife Mary. Now we moved from our house, first house in Arlington, over to Huntington Drive. There wasn't but a small ways from there. I just bought this swing set for the kids. They seem to enjoy it. We lived there on Huntington, I would assume, about a year. And that's where we're living at the time that we moved to Stephenville in 1958. Christmas of 57 on Huntington Drive. These little beds were made by Frank Price, who was a neighbor of Mrs. Ollert, when Marie lived with them when we were married. And he made them for the kids, and she sent them to us. And here are the ragamuffins. Christmas morning. Of course, back then it was necessary to use quite intense light to get exposure on your motion picture film, and kids always hated to see me coming indoors with those because it was blinded them. And Nancy is so thrilled with their Tiny Tears doll. Jim gets this dog that I had gotten from Purina for dog chow promotion. And Nancy's going to get her princess doll. I guess that was the name of it. I mean Patty. Patty get her princess doll. I think that subsequently had an arm broken off, and we tried to get it repaired here in Fort Worth at the animal doll clinic, but they didn't have any arms that would fit. Very pretty thing, wasn't it? Trio. Those little nightgowns were made by my sister. She was a very beautiful seamstress and doted on making things for the kids. Of course, she eventually had 4 of her own. I don't know how Jeanette got around to making things for my kids. Jim, you're We moved to Stephenville now. We moved down there on January 1st, 1958, and this is a birthday party and our place on Vanderbilt. Easter was called for getting our motion picture machine out and making pictures, and this is no exception. And of course, I guess Patty's sick here too. She seemed there for a spell. Every holiday she seems to get sick. The little polka dot clown suit was remade for, I guess, Patty probably, for some function that she had, and everybody in all the neighbors used it. It stood to wear well for many, many years. The chorus line, this is at Mrs. Evatt's kindergarten there in Stephenville, and I believe this is a little girl by the name of Cindy Hugon trying to do the twirling bit. Shirley Young in the pink and the yellow dress. And there's Queen, the wicked Queen, Patty Pickens. There's little Snow White and one of the dwarfs. There's a wicked queen talking. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of us all? And she could not tell a lie, so there's a little Snow White. The little Riggins boy telling the story, I guess. And here they go to work. Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to work we go. There she is, poisoning the apple. Some people would say, use a poison pill, but not Patty, she used an apple. Okay, this is what my mother's for Christmas. And that's in Houston. The potential cowboy putting on his guns. My mother with a patch on the eye, she had to wear that. She had a cataract removed, and my Uncle Bert, her husband, and there's the nurse and the cowboy. It was a game we had a lot of fun at. The kids, I'd lay down and they'd jump over me. They're jumping off. So Jim, you jumped clear to me then, and here we go. Hold your legs stiff, Jim, and grab hold. Here we go. There we are. Nancy, you got one leg stiff and then you let it go. Here we go, hold on. There you go. And Jim, you can jump right over the middle of Dad. But no, he takes the shortcut. Well, Nancy tried, and then she learns from Jim because he starts jumping my feet. And here's Robert. Robert, and the only shot we ever had of a little dog. And again, it's Easter. And Patty's ill. My beautiful family, my lovely wife. We're out at Guadalupe Peak now, and we're on our way to El Paso, on to Long Beach, California for a visit. It's El Capitan and Guadalupe Peak in the background, which is the highest point in the state of Texas. I think it's 8,800 feet in height. another closer shot of El Capitan. Just showing. This is a picnic that we had in Long Beach. There was Marge, Marie's oldest sister, and Linda Evans, and Valois Evans, John Brolin's wife. I should have said Evans, John. And that was John Evans there. He'd been the best man at our wedding when we got married. We're back to Houston now, and I believe this is in Herman Park. Bill and Lucille and their grandkids and our kids, we took them to the park. They had a good time that summer with Bennett and Kay, the Bill and Lucille's grandkids. Now we're in Galveston, and the kids playing in the Gulf. Still living in Stephenville at this point in time. Of course, Jim kind of likes to play in the water and doesn't care about swimming much. He'd rather swim underwater. We call this the dirty movies. It's on a little salt conservation lake outside of Stephenville. Kids have been there and they were really dirty. We've gotten in the mud and all, so we named this the dirty movies. I asked Jody one time if she'd like to see a dirty movie, and she was a bit dubious as to what it might entail until we showed her this. Peter Grant, our next door neighbor there in Stephenville, had gotten this coon as a baby and had kind of raised it, and of course Jim had played with it all of his all the coon's life. Nancy wasn't quite as familiar with it. You see, she's poking at him with that stick horse. Jim isn't afraid of it. It is a bit. Or the coon of Jim. Not a big time. Now we're at Disneyland, and of course Indian dancing. There's Nancy. And here's the horse dance by an adult. Oh, I guess the horse dance is right here. And here's Little Beaver doing his bit. Funny, Little Beaver took a shine to Nancy, you know, with her cotton toe-headed deal. Now see who's, when they get to dancing in a group, see who's holding on to Nancy's head. There's Jim, and Nancy, and Little Beaver has her hand. This, Jim, you've already got a tummy, haven't you? It's supposed to be Indian fort. And the Indians have attacked it, and if you'll notice, they set a fire, which we saw along Muggs or whatever his name was, and he'd been performing in some movies. And now in the Painted Desert, and those are mud pots that we're circling around on this little train on a track. And as we pass under this enchanted rock, it looks like it's going to fall on us. However, we did escape. Mom was trying to keep track of us with the camera, but you know, she just was barely able to do so. And Flying Dumbo makes his way, while Mickey is on top, flipping the whip. The carousel with Patty, Maria, and Nancy. Jim's probably following the horses or doing something else. Here's the chicken of the season display and the ski lift top deal. Marie and one of the children in the front, and we're shooting for one in the back. We enjoyed the submarine very, very much. It was quite realistic. An occasion for camera taking, picture taking with the children playing in the snow over at Mrs. Meeks, our neighbor across the street from where we live there on Vanderbilt in Stephenville. Don't go in there. There's your mama, Patty, and the tree there, the sandbox was made under there, and that's where Patty ran into the asp and was stung. First time we ever heard of one. Those things are quite common. They find in central Texas. That was the tree there by the side of our garage. White snow really makes the white buildings look dirty, doesn't it? This is when we're General Sales Advisor Board with Ross and Purina, and Marie and I had gone down there with Jack and Donna Mulholland, who was in a salesman in Waco. And one of the events they put us on was this sightseeing tour, in which we toured the waterfront in New Orleans skyline in the background. You kids went on this same boat a few years later. Of course, I was sick when we were in New Orleans that time, if you'll recall, and Mother took you on. This is a freighter that from Libya, I believe. That's the Libyan thing on the stack there. And on the starboard side, on the port bow, and smashed up. One of the Lykes Brothers steamship lines. Ships in the floating dry dock. This was floating dry dock was started in World War II, which allowed the Navy to repair some of the more minor ships without having to bring them all the way back to the West Coast or into Pearl Harbor for overhaul. A grain elevator. New Orleans is one of the largest grain loading ports in the United States, since the grain from the Midwest is barged down the Mississippi, unloaded into these elevators, and then the ships from all over the world come in there and pick that stuff up. Soybean, wheat, corn, you name it. Must have snowed in Stephenville again, because here we go. Nancy, you're the director on this one. You're going to tell Jim when to freeze. Yes, and now another freeze. And Nancy's pose, she's saying pose, I guess it is, rather than freeze, but she was directing him in his acting sequence. Another Easter, another sick little girl in the form of Patty. I presume she has measles and mumps or something, because it seemed like, and here we are with my lovely family again. I guess that's a different Easter too, and my beautiful wife. And cut to the left, and here you go, Jim. Cut to the left, Nancy, it's your time. There you go, cut to the left. There you go. And Patty, since you're older, you just sauntered over there, very leisurely. I didn't remember telling you kids to do that, but maybe I did. Another birthday party at the house. The photographer was one Marie Pickens, looking for squirrels on the trees. See, that must have been one of them. There we go, Jim. You're learning to ride a bike. You have your training wheels on and everything. And you weren't too successful. Now, our sequence of film is not in too good an order here since we're back out of Mainland and Pacific. And since Mom was a squirrel hunter, you want to see what kind of a hunter I was. You might call me a head hunter. All of you seem to have get a big charge out of my head hunting abilities. The seal bringing a glass of water on the balance on a stick over to his training. There's a porpoise jumping through a flame of fire, ring of fire. And the little dogs and the inflatable being towed by a porpoise to the end of the food. Quite a leap. These are pilot whale, one of the smaller of the whale family. But still a pretty good size fish, I'd say. And then pilot whale jumping. Now we're head hunting. Got him once. Got the head hunted twice. 3 times. And that's a better one. That's 4 times. And I'll probably get him a time or 2 more before it's over with. There's the pilot whale. Of course, we're greeted by the chipmunks, Chip and Dale. Jim's not too eager to be greeted. We're on the African voyage here, and we took a few shots of the various signs of animals: water buffalo, mama crocodile, and the kids, rhinos, and of course there's a line that killed a zebra and giraffe. Hippos. Again, the head hunter. Bryce Canyon, 1962, on our way to Seattle for the first VC90 reunion in the Seattle World's Fair. We stopped at places on the way up, and we had a little Coleman cook stove, and we'd make our lunches and dinners and so on and so forth. Pretty place. This is early in the morning, the breakfast that we were having. Now we're in Yellowstone on the bear bathing along the side road. The kids thought it'd be fun to have a snowball fight here. So back in the shadows, in the trees, that's where the snow was, and that's where they went. So it happened that there were also mosquitoes, and here comes Patty out, and the mosquitoes were eating Jim up, and all he was doing was crying. He was 6 years old at the time. It's one of my best shots of Old Faithful. We found Marie and I had been up there in 1949 into Yellowstone, and in '62, some 13 years later, we found it a lot dirtier, many more people. It was nice, but it just wasn't as nice as it was the first time we were there. This is one of the best pictures I guess I ever took on with our motion picture. All these films were shot with the camera my mother and dad had bought in 1927. This is going out of the north gate of Yellowstone into Montana. Wind was pretty high. The kids tell me they were afraid of being blown over into it. But looks pretty good. So the VC90 reunion, that was Fred Morgan and his family. We're on a boat in the locks on Lake Washington. There's Jack Jameson and Lee Conklin, 2 of our squadron union members. Lyle Endicott and Frank Couglin, who's another one. The skipper told me that it would be real nice if I wanted to try to catch some salmon to go over to Westport, Washington, which I did. And then Mom took the camera, and this is me coming in on the boat we went salmon fishing on. I caught one 15-pound silver salmon and had my 20-pound line broken on several occasions as a result of having my drag set too heavy. Very nonchalantly, Jim in the petting park at Six Flags feeds the goats. Patty Burkett at the wheel, and she's driving. I believe Patty is under the wheel, but Patty Burkett's handling the thing. She was afraid to let Patty drive it, I think. Of course, there's Jim and Pat Andrews playing in our backyard there in Stephenville. You wanted to be a football hero, didn't you, Jim? There you go. And the cheerleaders swinging on the side. They're swinging cheerleaders. And the coach, who was tending to her teeth. Oh, what a face, man. She's just putting it on, put it on. That got you then, Jim. Now, a few cheers from the side, Nancy. My youngest brother Curtis and his family visited us for Easter, and we had moved off of Vanderbilt up onto the other house. We bought this house there in Stephenville, and Patty's running the show, the big brute. That's Larry, my brother Curtis's oldest, looking for Easter eggs. Of course, Greg's a little too small since he's still hardly able to crawl, I expect. There's Carolyn, my brother's wife. That's old Greg. Yes, Nancy, that's pretty Easter basket. Yeah, they're getting ready to go, load up and go home, and I see I've given Kurt, there's Curtis, I've given Kurt the swing that we got when we were on Vanderbilt, or on Huntington here in Stephenville. These are some cattle that I had fed out with Monroe Ryan when I was with Purina. The white-faced heifer we killed and put in a freezer. Delicious meat. Didn't make any money on them, but I didn't lose any, so I guess that's a success. About 50 head of cattle in there, I think. Christmas. This must be Christmas of 63. There's Marion, my stepbrother's Earl's wife. Earl's my first cousin and my stepbrother. His daddy was who I call Uncle Bert, who was my father's sister's husband. This now is there's Patty Burkett, and there's next to her is Patty Joe, Patty Burkett's daughter, and one over there is Larry Burkett, his son, and Lee Huss sitting here by Earl, Patty Burkett's brother. Of course, Joe had left his family across the street from us while he went to Mom, from where he never returned. Snow calls for cameras again. And here we go with the Burkett kids having a good time in Stephenville. And Marie's going to take some still shots while I'm shooting with Easter of 64. Larry and Patty Joe and my family. And Patty comes over and I get my picture. There's Patty Burkett. Well, we moved to Waco in 64, in the summer of 64, and there's Patty on a parade for the North Texas State Fair and playing the flute in the Tennessee Junior High Band. And here's Mary Claire Collins, my first cousin, who's this is a battleship Texas at the San Jacinto Monument on the Gulf Coast. Of course, it last saw any active service in World War II, and of course it was presented to people of Texas by the Navy Department. San Jacinto Monument. We were still living in Stephenville at the time these were taken. And there's a tug going up the Houston Ship Canal. Marine kids on the San Jacinto Monument. This is at Gilroy. Down over on the Boulevard Peninsula across from Galveston. Not far from Rollover Pass, which is quite noted for fishing on the Gulf Coast. I believe that is a Rollover Pass, that last shot. And I always call this the San Jacinto, Alamo by moonlight, although it was shot in the middle of the day, but it was stopped in such a way that it appears to be moonlight. We were still living in Stephenville at this time. There we are. Dad with his big hat, you can tell who that is with the hat. And this is Mother's shots, her claim to fame as a photographer. A very good job, Mom. Made in Breckenridge Park here in San Antonio. Of course, I could say that this is a polar bear, but I guess that's very apparent. Bear would wave at you, trying to get you to throw him something to eat. Now this is made in Colorado when Marie and I went to VC90 reunion, and I believe they call this Pioneer Pass or something there in Colorado. It's one of the highest passes. We drove, this is Cripple Creek, a ghost mining town. And we drove out of west of Denver out over into Aspen, and on down to Leadville, and veil. It was very pretty. This was in the fall of that year. I can't remember what year it was. It was sometime in the late 70s or maybe as recent as early 80s. I'm not sure exactly when that reunion was held there. Probably 79. See the clouds going over the mountains. We're on our way here back from up in the mountains in Colorado through Dodge City. You get you having a big time crawling over the steam engine. Of course, there's your fronts. Now we're at 929 Ramble. We moved in that house probably about 66. And I thought we'd only be there a short while, but it turns out we're still in it. These roses are a lot prettier there at that time than they were right now. 1969. There we are. It's Mother's Day of 69. There's Clark Robinson, Patty's friend, neighbor boy. There's our friend's Becker's house in Red River. Very pretty A-frame house. And the little hummingbirds out on their front porch. Hummingbirds up there don't fight like they do down here in Central Texas. They allow several of them to be at the same time at the feeder. I guess it's pretty and some share and share alike. Again, at Christmas. Jim, you ought to be a real star here. Marion and Earl. Well, Mom, you have a pretty bow in your hair, don't you? Patty and Nancy, Jim. There's a vacant seat that's now occupied by myself. Mother's probably shooting her. See how she's gone. See, her seat's vacant now. Sure looked like Curtis, don't it? When Kurt was slimmer. And there's Jim Miller, Nancy's friend. Marion and Earl. And then Jim. Got a pretty plate, Grandma. And the skirts are in, aren't they, Nancy? Short skirts, and Grandma's following suit. 85-pound stingray that Darrell and Jim caught down at Corpus, and there's Patty with Buffy, Jim and Marie. A big stingray. There's Patty and Darrell and Nancy. Patty and Daryl had come back a year later from Germany to go to Daryl's sister's wedding, and this is in Niagara Falls. First time I've seen it since I was 3 years old. Maybe I was 4 or 5, I don't know. Quite an impressive sight, all that water. This is a garden over on the Canadian side, and boy, they really have the flowers up there. They're real pretty. Is that a formal garden? Would you call it a formal garden, or is it just huh? I just told you. Is that Marion in the center between Jim? And here's Marge, Marie's oldest sister, and her husband Dick in their backyard in Long Beach, California. I don't know what year that was, but I guess it was after all the kids were gone. There's Cindy Pickens on her way to school. And there's 2 blondes. 3 blondes now. Patty, you sent that jumpsuit to me with the long sleeves from Germany, and never was able to find any more like it. Daryl. And Scott and Nancy, 1976, I guess December of 76, which is the last that we had on the end of the 16mm usefulness, which spanned from 1927 to 1976. Patty got a fur coat. Thank you, Daryl. And that's it. And that is my lovely family, which I've enjoyed very much. And Mama let down the screen, and that will conclude. We just saw 2,000 feet of film that was filmed from 1950 to 1976. In the road in June. And Patty, you remember sending me those long-handled or long-sleeved jumpsuits from Germany? Enjoyed them. Never could find any more like them. And there's old Scott and Nancy. This must have been 1976. Christmas of 76. Christmas tree then. Patty got a fur coat from Daryl at Christmas. So now you've viewed film covering a period from about 1951 to 1976. So 25 years. I want you to know that I was a producer of the film. Mom and I were the producers of the actors. It was directed by me, and thanks to Klaus, it was providing the technical and equipment. And I want my family to know that I love them very much, and will always remember them in these pictures, and love each one of you. You viewed 2,000 feet of film in this.
Yeah, so But see, this one right here is not very big, not very tall, but he's roly-poly, and that's what I'm saying. They could really got some hitters. But then they almost have to put in the fence to get the raise.
That's fun out there, Chris.
Chris, just had one of them just walk Pickens.
There you go. Looks good, Chris.
Remember him?
Bring that back to the wall.
Took my foot. That's all right. Well, that's fine. Let me see.
Fire up, Blue.
Yeah, I do. Come on, Chris, we'll come him in there. Come on, Chris. Follow through with your leg.
Here we go.
Let's hear it up.
Ready, Spud?
There it is. Good job.
That's what I say.
Get away, Jason.
Come on, Chris, bring him down. Let's get control.
Pop in the chair right here. It'll work. Right here. Josh? Yeah, Josh? Josh. Josh.
Can't say I don't know you. Yesterday, she had sparklers in her hair. What do you think?
I think it sucks.
I think it's great. Don't you?
No, not particularly.
I think it's stupid, Mom. Well, it's not the first time you thought something your mother did was stupid.
Probably won't be the last time.
Hey, give me a focus. Hey, hey. Me, Mr. Dreesen. Camera on me.
What?
Me.
So dorky. Gosh, she's dorky. Well, if it makes you win, so what?
I'll take my face. Take off my water glasses. Be careful and don't do it.
Shut up.
Oh, there's oh, Chris, that's really hurting. Oh, a whole lot. Ouch. Oh, that hurts. Oh, that does.
to take my shirt off and iron it if the guys would leave. Goodbye.
All out and slide now, Eric. Okay? I think he'd have got you anyway, but go as hard as you can and slide.
But when you have to force the double play.
Huh? Yeah, it doesn't matter. He wasn't going to get double play anyway.
Ball crash, Tracy!
Good hit him. Good eye, Chris. Keep it going, Chris. 2 down now, Chad. You got to run on any hit. Now he's on his knees. He's calling him.
Come on, Chris.
Dana, if he's pitching him low like that, you got to right your knees. You got to bend low. Bend your knees and swing. Good eye. Don't chase him, Chris.
Up to some defense, guys. Here we go, guys. Technique. I got
This is Chris at his best. It's the only time that we can ever get him when he's in a peaceful, quiet mood. And this is Chris asleep at Grandma's and Grandpa's. And here's the date, at 8:52 a.m. on July 21, 1990. Let me get a close-up and you can see some of the signs of puberty. There is a big zit right there on his chin, right over right there by his mouth. As we move up, we go toward the nose, and there's a big zit on the end of the nose. Then you notice tiny little zits all over the cheeks and so forth. This comes, of course, from not washing your hair, your face, your hands, and not keeping clean. But all in all, he looks pretty good when he's sound asleep. You notice he's not wearing a t-shirt this morning after we told him to do that, and curled up in the fetal position as he is, he's probably cold. I'm sure that he will get up in approximately another hour or so, and we'll have that on tape when Chris wakes up for the full day on the reunion that we're going to have today and going to the picnic.
They were going to the Ranger game tonight. Hear me?
Why not?
Nice social over here. You're watching your kids. Don't get you
I know all this kind of fun. That's
interesting now. Class is not doing anything. Chris, hold this. Hold on. Huh? You shouldn't. Where did he get the Cooper and go around and pick up the Cooper? Better shut the gate. And you talk about me wasting